Hi everyone, and thanks for listening into From Old to New, examining the characteristics and values of shop atmospheres in repurposed buildings. We are a group of one professor and two graduates who have been working on this subject as part of a larger ongoing research project that aims to understand how the design of stores influences user experiences, communities, and the environment. Buildings are usually not the first thing that comes to people's mind when talking about things that harm our planet. However, numbers prove that they account for a large part of both used energy and carbon emissions. As famously stated by Carl Elefante, the most sustainable building is the one that is already built. Living in Copenhagen made us realize that there's an increasing number of popular coffee shops, restaurants, and stores appearing in old buildings that previously served a very different purpose and are often located in formerly abandoned remote areas of the city. With our background in branding and communication and an interest in understanding trends and developments from different perspectives, we did not only want to hear about the intentions of this movement, but also how customers perceive those special places and understand why many of them are so popular among Copenhageners. Previous research on repurposed buildings has primarily focused on the perspectives of experts, with relatively limited attention given to understanding consumers' perception of these environments. Additionally, only very few studies have been done on repurposed buildings that now fulfill commercial purposes. Most previous research focused on heritage or historical buildings. To narrow this gap, this study will explore user perceptions of coffee shops in repurposed buildings in Copenhagen. The research is guided by the two questions: what are the common characteristics of coffee shops in repurposed buildings, and how do they add value for contemporary users? Information in regards to theory for this study was drawn from the fields of retail design, atmospherics, and circular economy, more particularly adaptive reuse of buildings. Thereby, Birker and Stone's three strategies of remodeling buildings, namely intervention, insertion, and installation, were taken into consideration. Kotler's theory on atmospherics, which is described as the conscious designing of space to create certain effects in buyers, and further the characterization of atmospheric variables by Turley and Milliman, gave a guideline on a broad range of design variables to be considered in the user's experience of commercial places. In a first step, restaurants, bars, and coffee shops in repurposed buildings were identified. Out of those 40 culinary places found in repurposed buildings in Copenhagen, we ended up choosing coffee shops to narrow down the scope of the study. The reasoning behind this is the significant impact of atmospherics that Kotler assigned to industries where price differences vary less, which is arguably the case for coffee shops. The different places were then observed, capturing insights into the remodeling strategies via photos, videos, and field notes. Afterwards, 5 store representatives were interviewed to understand the intentions behind the location choice and redesign. 15 semi-structured customer interviews provided insights into the perceived effects of the different locations. To uncover the themes and patterns of the interviews, a content analysis was conducted. Our findings are split up into the characteristics that were determined to have an effect on users. It's important to note, though, that several of these themes overlap and cannot be seen as completely unrelated. Lastly, we want to present some additional findings that we consider as important to share for further research. Our observation studies revealed that most of our cases fall into the insertion category, as determined by the remodeling strategies of Bruker and Stone. Furniture and fixtures were inserted in a way that can easily be removed and thus turn the building to its original state again. Other cases showcase a hybrid strategy between installation and insertion. Fixtures have been customized and added to fit the space, but can be removed again without changing the space. These original building structures are also what make customers perceive the different spaces as authentic and real, highlighting the value that original structures and elements can bring to the overall customer experience. I'm not going into detail with the next few findings, but appealing neighborhoods, outdoor seating, remote locations, spacious buildings, and daylight have also proven to be common characteristics of coffee shops in repurposed buildings and of value for contemporary users. Cafe owners aim to preserve and showcase specific elements of the building's history as a means to tell its story, while customers are primarily drawn to cafes for their atmospheric experience rather than the building's historical significance. Customers tend to gravitate towards repurposed buildings over modern structures, appreciating the unique and special vibe that comes with it. What was striking during the customer interviews was their difficulty to describe individual atmospheric variables, but instead refer to the holistic atmosphere using words such as nice, cozy, welcoming, or comfortable. This is in line with previous research and indicates that atmospheric variables are perceived holistically rather than in isolation, posing challenges in providing specific recommendations for individual features that should be kept or added in repurposed buildings to contribute to an appealing atmosphere. During the interviews with store representatives, they mentioned several challenges that come with moving into repurposed buildings, such as temperature regulation, high energy consumption, plumbing and draining, the given size, condition and features of the buildings, as well as rules and regulations that make it hard to change certain looks, which is, for example, the case for Copenhagen's meatpacking district, where the city doesn't allow a lot of change in terms of colors, outdoor signs, and windows. However, they also named several benefits that come with moving in abandoned buildings, such as a certain charm, soul, and history that they can create in a new building, and also the fact that there are existing installations such as power and water supplies. To sum up, this study highlights the environmental benefits and added value of repurposed buildings, specifically investigating user perceptions of coffee shops in repurposed buildings in Copenhagen and identifying characteristics like original constructions, appealing neighborhoods, remote locations, spacious buildings, access to daylight, and historic features that contribute to a unique and appreciated experience. The presence of narratives about the building's history, as well as the visual consumption of places, offer avenues for future research, along with the distinction between holistic atmospheres and atmospheric variables and the challenges and benefits of implementing shops in repurposed buildings. We are always interested in receiving your feedback and engaging in discussions about our research. If you have any questions or want to know more, feel free to reach out to Mia Munster from PolyU School of Design in Hong Kong via email or LinkedIn. Thank you.